Okay, so welcome to SJEB Rush Futsal Tactics board for style of play that we want to implement across the board for our futsal teams. So we've got our defending side of the game first. For argument's sake, we're playing against Barcelona. So we want to defend as a club in a square, right, teaching the kids pressure cover, 2 lines of defence, and we always want to be doing a low pressure. So our line of confrontation is kind of top of the circle with the 2 forwards and 2 backs. Okay, so allowing the other team to have the ball in their own defensive third, right, and then obviously engaging them once they get into the line of confrontation here. So most teams will have 1 high forward, 1 low forward. So obviously if you're playing in your zone, you're slightly aware of players in your zone. If this player also makes a rotation, switches the other side, we'll just do a little switch off so that both players don't have to obviously track and man mark, so you defend it in your zone. So that's the high player taken care of. Obviously if they check in, then you're man to man, ball side, goal side. If they go up and they check in, a bit of discussion to see who, man to man, ball side, goal side. So obviously one pressure, one way you have to go on to the lower striker. Same thing if they go 2 high strikers, it's basically man to man in your zone. Obviously awareness of whether the defender's over your shoulder, and when they check in, you might want to go a little bit with them. So a bit of communication from the 2 backs and the goalkeeper that we're low pressuring. All right, and when we're low pressuring, we're waiting for a mistake. So obviously with the other team passing the ball around, the other team passing the ball around. Now we're looking to engage, put pressure on the ball, force a mistake, but as the ball's getting moved around here, we're just waiting for mistakes. Maybe they pass it out of bounds. Maybe they have a bad touch here and we can win that one. Right, so once we get the ball into here, we're looking to engage. Obviously we want to be showing inside or outside, and then we want to be defending the middle of the court. So if the player whose zone it is out to pressure man to man, we want to get the weak side tucked in, defending the middle of the court here, right, and we're giving up the territory around the outside of the court. So obviously with the switch of play, maybe a rotation, we want to slide over, and again these guys here defending the middle of the court, right, and giving up, so we don't allow anything to come into the middle of our futsal square, where they can then get the ball out the other side and attack down the flank. So we want to be denying that penetrating pass into there, because then he can get exposed with balls in and into the striker and into the overlap on the wing. We'll see if they do break us down and get into the final third. Our square is a lot deeper, and then it's up to the player closest to the ball to get out and pressure. Obviously, a lot of teams move their keeper up. So if we get now to the ball on the left side of the square, so they rotate the ball around, simple pressure cover, defend in the middle of the box, and swinging the ball around, get out to it, slide over, defend the middle. Also we need to get out and block shots. So now we're in a position where blocking is important. Maybe intercepting passes here to hit on the counter attack. Anything that get worked around. Obviously we want to be out tight, denying crosses, and then obviously anything getting tight inside of our box there, we need to be marking that player. And then obviously if we drop deep, we need to be getting the 2 midfield, the 2 forwards here, stepping out to block shots, and slight cover. So we've got an example here of a low pressure from Brazil against Portugal. So they're not sprinting out and forcing a mistake, just patiently waiting. They get out, but they get 5, 6, 7 yards away, just waiting patiently. A little bit of pressure, it's just token pressure, they're not trying to win the ball. Just patiently waiting, 2 guys get back behind the ball, just waiting patiently. Nobody's getting out and forcing a mistake. They tried to lunge in a little bit there, but then here's the mistake. So once they made a mistake, look how quick they counter. This is where a lot of chances in futsal are created, just by waiting for mistakes and then hitting hard on the counter attack. Just want to highlight this moment here in the Spain-Brazil game where look how small the box is in front of the goal to defend a kick in here. So it's a real small box defending that part of the pitch. So a common scenario that happens in futsal is the forwards checking in to the middle of the box, and then the overlap not being picked up. So the high forward here, okay, say the midfielders on this side, so they can work, the team here working the weave, and the high forward, maybe on the right hand side right now, checks in. Right, it's a common tendency for obviously the player marking in this right back zone to go with the striker who checks, and once the movement here, this triggers the outside back here to overlap, and what tends to happen is the communication between the two right hand side players doesn't happen, and they get an open player in behind. So when that situation happens, we need to teach our players that when the striker checks in and the overlapper goes out the back, that the right defender takes the overlap and the right forward tucks in and kind of intercepts the pass into the striker, rather than the situation happening where we get dragged out of our box because the striker checks in and we go with, and then we go on the run and we follow that run all the way down. We just need to pass off the runner, pass off the fullback. So some communication between our two right hand sides, just to say switch, and excuse me, what we switch with the right defender taking the overlap and our right forward pinching in. So here's an example of a team going man-to-man and high pressing. See Spain is stepping out to the man in front of them, forcing a mistake. Tight man-to-man, high pressing, stepping forward, and there's the mistake. Another good example of high pressure by Brazil here, man-to-man. So it's 3v3 up in this half. Man-to-man, 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 pressure, pressure, pressure. When we're attacking, and start off with the ball with our goalkeeper, we want our two backs to be starting off level with the edge of the key here, so they're not trapped back in the corner when they receive the ball. You get a high press. We want one of the two forwards to immediately get high as they can, kind of just up on their key. All right, and then the midfielder getting in the zone here to do the link-up play with the two backs. So obviously we need the option to threaten with a long ball over the top and a long ball into midfield, just to keep these players honest so that they don't come in high pressure the whole time. It's obviously it allows you the ability to build out the back. So having the option to throw is always an option for the goalkeeper to the two forwards. That makes them drop back. So if that's on, they're great. They're our first two options. If it's not on, looks risky, then the ball out to either the right or the left defender is the ball, so we can build up. Right, so we can get the ball down the line, and then once we play the ball down the line, cut into the middle. So out of the back, we want to pass and move. If that's not an option, then we square it and we go across. So they're dribbling across from the right, dribbling across, play it, and then our run is a diagonal run up into the midfield zone for the player then to circulate around to help. Here's a good example of Spain working the pass and move. So the dribble across the middle, make the pass, dribble across the middle, make the pass, run forward, dribble across, make the pass, run forward. Obviously, again, dribble into the middle with the ball, pass, drive. Right, and this player obviously every time back into the middle, so we can check down low, pass across, dribble into the middle, check down low. Obviously looking to go forward each time we work the weave. Right, a go, right, and looking for the ball down the line or the ball into the striker. Here's another good example of Spain being patient in the back, passing and moving in the back. Doesn't always have to be a perfect weave, but it's pass and move and dribbling across the middle. So they're not really going dribbling out wide, trying to take 1v1s down the sideline. Let's dribble across, pass and move, dribble across, pass and move. So they're always dribbling laterally. So dribble across, pass and move. And then obviously we're looking for our striker, so boom, there's a nice ball into the striker, so we can get into the final third. Right, if any of these three balls aren't on, then we keep the ball moving, flow back into the middle. Okay, maybe that comes into there, or most of the time it's a check down low, and then recycle and do it all again. Right, so every time, kind of attacking in the diamond. And all while this is going on, our striker up front needs mobility. They need to be working high, and then with the odd opportunity to check in and combine. Right, but we want to make sure that we've got a target up front. Usually this player is a good finisher, a good dribbler, good at holding the ball up with a back to play, good at posting up with a player behind them, right, so that we can play that ball in there, and they're quite strong. They can turn and get shots off and kind of use their physicality to turn this player and go 1v1 around the edge of the box. And here's an example of Brazil getting a shot off with the back to goal. So they're working the passes around, ball into the striker, turn, fancies himself, 1v1, take a shot. So in the attack, it's basically a diamond, because we're always wanting one back to step up into midfield after they've played the pass. So we square and we're up, and then we're back into the middle. So it's basically a diamond, and we've got options in the midfield here. So come down low and get on the ball. But every time we passed it from the back, you want to try and make a run forward. Sometimes that's not on, and a couple of passes may just be from the backs to the backs, and we're waiting for the movement of the forwards, which also can happen. So we didn't have the rotation here from the backs because they stayed stationary. Then we can have the rotation from the forwards with their movement, checking out and coming in. So you're teaching, twin striker play. So we've still got one extending it and one. Final example of a weave. This one leads into a 1v1 shot by Spain. So they're working the ball around, and then they realise that this guy's insulated out here. So instead of working the weave, he's 1v1 again, fancies himself, confident, and gets a shot off. One of my favourite aspects of futsal is when you're losing and you need to pull the goalkeeper and go crazy. So I call that, with the young guns, I call that the wildcat. So what we do is, you're losing 2-0, it's just like ice hockey where you need to pull the goalkeeper to get the fifth field player. So if you've got the goalkeeper with the ball and you're getting allowed the opportunity to play the ball, as soon as the goalkeeper throws it out to anybody, even if it's a striker, and we know that we've established possession, we get a substitution from the goalkeeper with the field player who you designate as a good futsal player, good possession player, who can get on and get up into the attacking third. Because obviously with the futsal rules, you're only allowed one possession in your own half, but as many touches as you like. So then you throw your extra person over the halfway line, and you now create a numbers up situation. So now we can pass the ball back to our two backs, and we can work that extra player. Like I say, we want a bit of height off one of our two forwards, maybe one forward checking in to make a numbers up in there, right, but looking to work that ball around, right, and using the extra player to find the solution to get to goal. Obviously, if we lose the possession of the ball, we take a shot, we lose it, right, we get back into our shape, and then the one player who was the designated wildcat sprints off, right, and the goalkeeper sprints back on so that we can defend obviously their attacks and their build out from their goalkeeper. So say we win the ball again, they kick it out for a throw in, Alright, well, this player is taking their time to go and get the ball. Also establishing some shape. And we can, again, without any hesitation, get the goalkeeper off, that player on, and then we've got our extra numbers up to work the wildcat. We give the ball away. I'll say we've given the ball away immediately. It might not be a good idea for the wildcat goalkeeper to run off while we're in a transition moment here, where they're coming out as 2v2. We might just need to scramble the defence there and get 2v2 just with the wildcat still on the field, try and hustle and win that ball back in 2 or 3 seconds so that we can keep the wildcat on the field and maintain the 5v4. Obviously, any dead ball or any moment where they're just swinging the ball around there, and we can get the wildcat off and the goalkeeper back in goal. So here's a few examples of the keeper being pulled. Obviously the guy down in the corner here, there you go. That's the goalkeeper, the 5th player out on the field, using that man advantage there. And there's another one here. So the score was 2-2. Here's Spain are losing 3-2. So they'll get the extra man on the field. You can see him there in yellow, trying to get the goal with 10 seconds left. So Brazil free kick, they shoot it wide. Takes the goalkeeper forever. Look at him standing around. He's talking to his teammates. He's talking to the referee. He's just giving everyone time to get off on his team and the opponent's team before he gets the ball and rolls it in. Same with here, Spain kick in now. Look, the one guy leaves it. He walks away. People can make the substitutions in this time. Another player's walking over. The little number 8 takes his time. Just allows everybody time to get set up. And then the clock starts. 4 seconds starts now when he puts the ball down. This situation here, the Spain take a shot, and then look, the 3 of them immediately just jog off. So they knew it was going to be a dead ball. They were instant, within half a second they were jogging off because they knew it was their time to substitute. Just want to highlight this guy. Look how he's committed to making the block. Goalkeeper's out, making the tackle. Smart play there. Again here. This guy steps out, goalkeeper again, stepping out and being proactive. Again, getting stuck in. Nothing wrong with sliding in and blocking shots. I love how clever the defender is in this situation coming up. He's gotten beat, he's out of position, and he takes a cheap foul. And there you go, he's beaten. This guy comes in, takes a foul. He slows the game down, and he allows all 4 players to get behind the ball.